Is real? How do you define real? I love those words from the Matrix. They're very profound. And when we look at the First Amendment, the right to free expression, it gets pretty real when you start freely expressing yourself. Uh, and it's going to get real for Colin Kaepernick. This is another excerpt of The NFL is Fixed. And I've been talking about this for a couple days because Colin Kaepernick is, I think he's going to be on his way out. Now, yeah, so listen, if you want to protest police, especially on a global stage that the NFL is on, let's get this straight. The NFL is the championship game, the Super Bowl is the most watched program that there is on the planet. Okay, so NFL players, especially star players, are heavily scrutinized when they do something wrong. I mean, look at what happened to Ray Rice. I mean, look at how they came down on him, took his money. I mean, and even though his woman supported him, they went after that dude. Look at what they did to the running back of the Vikings. I mean, when he beat his child, they pretty much was ready to crucify him. Colin Kaepernick not standing for the national anthem, uh, it's real that the First Amendment exists, of free expression, but it's very real that people are going to come down on you, and immediately football players went after him. And when they did go after him, they said it's about respect. And they said you have to respect, you have to respect the flag. Hey, and here's what I say to those people who, come after people like that and say you have to respect the flag. It's just like, for one, when Francis Scott Key wrote the national anthem, it didn't represent America. Okay, it did. He wrote it, and it didn't represent America until what? How many years later? 10, 15 years later. So it wasn't uh, the pinnacle of what America was about. Not only that, when Francis Scott Key wrote the national anthem, he wrote, I think it's in the second stanza, when he wrote about how no slave will go free, and he was talking about how the free slaves were running to the British, which is really ironic because America was built on the fact that the British were the ones, the Queen, who was terrorizing the people, and they came over here and then stole the land and killed all the Indians, but they were originally running from the British Empire. But when they went and got what, I don't know how many millions of slaves and bringing them over here, the slaves decided they wanted to be free. And once they did get their freedom, they still weren't free. What is real? How do we define real? You are free, Abe Lincoln, you are free. But nonetheless, they were still being terrorized. And the slaves was like, hey, we want to go over there, kick it with the British because, they're not terrorizing us. But I'm sure they were doing their own version of terror. Nonetheless, it was all a fight to be free. But when Francis Scott Key wrote it, he was talking about how even the fleeing of the slaves, uh, and how it won't go unpaid or whatever. And he was talking about killing them. It basically is what this I call them terrorists, because anybody who strikes terror and fear and killing people and constantly harassing people, they're terrorists to me, and they were white terrorists to me, and that's what they were. And so basically, that's what Francis Scott Key was writing about. So for those of you who are ignorant of the national anthem and then expect black people whose ancestors came over here and nothing good has happened for them in American history? Nothing. Nothing. We are still struggling today. We are still in slavery today. The jail system is another form of slavery. Why do you think there's so many of us in jail for people are getting life sentences for non-violent crimes? This woman got a life sentence because she knew where weed was. Called her up and said, hey, you know where the weed's at? She said, yeah. They put her in jail for life. They just had a white dude who molested an 8-year-old boy he was babysitting, and he got 30 days in jail. 30 days. They had another dude who raped 2 girls while they were drunk. This dude gets no jail time. All right? I mean, listen, people. For any black person out there, anyone, to say that Colin Kaepernick was wrong, even though he has the right to stand up for his rights, which is the First Amendment, for the freedom of expression, you guys need to re-educate yourself. For any person out there who says he's wrong, and for any black person, if you do not stand for the national anthem, if you do not celebrate the national anthem, I'm not mad about that. It does not represent this country. It is not the even though it is the marquee song that is behind America, it was not. You guys just need to listen to the song itself and how racist it is. And I'm telling you, if more people actually listen to that song and all of what was written down about that song, there'll be a lot more people sitting on the bench when that song is played. I know I don't have to stand for it. You know what I'm saying? A guy called me out once because the national anthem was playing and I didn't stop and put my hand over my heart. It's like, what part of this has anything to do with me being free? I'm afraid to go outside. I'm afraid to drive while black. Okay? I'm afraid to go downtown. You know what I'm saying? I do it every now and then, but I get followed everywhere I go. Especially if I have locks. I used to have locks and drive all over the country. They stopped me every city I went to. They harassed me every city I went to. Guns, dogs, surrounded by cops, searching my car illegally. Colin Kaepernick, I'm with you all day. That doesn't mean he disrespects America. I don't disrespect America. I realize where I live. I know what country I'm in. I know the few freedoms that I have. I know I'm not living in a country that like North Korea. You know, I know I'm not living in that country, some third world country. I know I'm not in Mogadishu. You know what I'm saying? I'm aware of this. I'm aware that there are dictators in countries that are just all out killing people, creating genocide and, you know, and all that other stuff. I am aware of who I am and where I'm at. But I'm also aware that if a cop feels like it, he can pull me over, shoot me in the face, and go on paid leave. And they'll blame it on me. Listen, case in point, the man in Florida a month ago, laying down in the street, hands up, was a teacher to the autistic child that he was sitting beside. Neither one of them doing anything. The cop shot him. He said, why'd you shoot me? And the cop said, I don't know. Then they lied and said he was trying to help the guy that he shot. This is the pure menagerie of the day. So, I'm sorry, I just had to go on a rant. You people stop coming down on Colin Kaepernick. He has the right to freedom of expression. It's the First Amendment. If you don't know nothing about the song that Francis Scott Key wrote, you need to go and look it up and get off my boy. That's it. I'm out.